Hi crafters, this is Crafty Savvy and I'm here today with a project share. I was doing a little bit of cleaning up and I don't know if you're anything like me. I always end up with one little pile of stuff that I don't know where to put it. And usually for me that's a pile of paper, whether it be from paper pads or things that I've coffee stained or tea dyed or anything like that, but I always end up with one pile and it drives me crazy because I'll just keep it there and I won't do anything with it. I don't want to get rid of it, but so what I decided to do the other day was I got so fed up of looking at this particular pile that I picked it up and I sat at my desk, I turned on the TV and I just started cutting and folding and sewing and doing a bunch of things. So I thought this video might be good for some of my recent and new subbies and thank you to those of you who have commented about stuff like this. So I thought this was a good opportunity to share what I do with these extra things that I have and how I make them work in my journals. So many of you already know that I don't really purchase a lot of things to put inside of my journals. I do, but not too much. I generally like to stick with making my own pages, my own tags and pockets and flip outs and with book page and all different sorts of things. So I thought this was a good chance to show you sort of my process and how I do that. So like I said, I went through and this was pretty much some of the papers that were in this little pile that well, not little, it was a big pile that I had. So I sat down and I cut everything down. So I cut them into manageable sizes to where I knew it would fit into any journal that I made, whether it would be an entire page layout or just something that you can insert inside. That's what I did. I made most of them into like pages, and you can always change that later. But I just took all of the papers that I had that I thought weren't going to work, I thought maybe were relatively ugly at the time or whatever. But once you cut things down, you'll notice that it sort of changes it. When it's in a smaller size and you've actually done something to it, they're not quite so bad anymore, and they'll fit into a project or something that you're working on. So like I said, I had lots of things, not only paper, but these are like samples, fabric samples that I had gotten at some point. So I cut them down and I turned them into a little book, just more book page. I don't know, is this light too bright maybe? Is that a little easier to see maybe? Sorry, I got a new light and I think it's a little bright. But anyway, so I cut them all down and I used whatever I had. Like here's some vellum. This one had a pattern on it, and as a whole sheet I didn't like it, but I thought maybe just for an insert it might be okay somewhere. These ones had some writing on it. This is actually some paper that I got some flowers, and the flowers came wrapped in it, and I kept it and I cut it down, and it's really quite pretty, and I'll show you what I actually used those for. What else? Book page. I cut some things down into tag shapes so that we could do something with those later. So yeah. So your first step would just be to go get that pile of paper. I've had these particular sheets for years and years and years, and I really like them, but it never worked with anything that I was doing. So I cut them all down. I'm going to use them. I'm going to force myself to use them. So I just wanted to show you. Go through and turn things into little books, or this one, eventually will be a pocket once I sew around it. Same with these. I added, I folded them in different ways so that I knew later I would turn them into tuck spots and you know, and such. So that's your first step. Go and cut some things down. These will be just cards that I use. This was really nice book paper that or not book paper, but sheets of singles that I got at Michael's. I think they had a sale. And so I really love that one. So I just turned those all into manageable size pieces. Some very thin paper that I had. I'll turn that into a pocket. Just some really pretty vellum that I had. I had this sheet for also years and years. Never wanted to cut it or do anything with it. So basically I was hoarding it. But I can't do that anymore. So we're gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. And that's what it's meant to do. So that's what we're going to do. There you go. And some other pieces there. So that's what I did. Really beautiful paper there. So I had a pile that was like kind of double this size. And I actually did some things to show you what you can do once you get past that point. So I'll just show you some of my examples of what I use them for. 'Cause now everything is ready to just go straight into your journal, and you don't have to fuss and, you know, when you're in the process of making a journal, take up more time to actually make things. They'll already be prepared for you, and you just put them right in. So this is that fabric sample that I showed you, and I cut it down, turned it into a little booklet. I filled it with extra bits of paper that I had. I attached a doily and a button to it, and done. This piece I actually turned into a pocket. I sewed the bottom and across the side here, and now it's a little pocket. I can use it just to slip into another pocket inside a journal or glue it down, and just did some collaging there. And that's it, I have a pocket. Those tag shapes that I was talking about, I just attached a piece of lace. I did some sewing around all the edges. Eventually I'll probably poke a hole in there, put some ribbon on it, and it'll be perfect, ready to go. I made some little booklets, just with extra bits of paper. It's always nice for a little tuck. I made some little like parts that you can attach to the edge of your pages. I put some lace on there and tore up some sheets of paper. I inked everything and did sewing all the way around and collaging with little bits of paper. You can see the sewing on the back, but that's okay because that'll probably get glued down. So you can make edges. There's booklets, just did some sewing around the edges. Same thing here. Use some lace and a piece of extra paper with some sewing. It's not perfect by any stretch, but I like it like that, and it looks really nice in your journals, little booklets. I would never have pulled out a piece of paper like this probably with the blue, but I really like it now that it's small and tiny. It'll fit in somewhere really nice just to add some color. More things that I'm going to use as booklets. Just did sewing. I made this one just into a little card and added a couple of little bits that I had, and I sewed them down. This was another piece of paper that I had from so long ago. Never wanted to cut it up because I thought it was too pretty, but I was not using it, so that all ended. So I cut it up and I made a little pocket out of it. I did some sewing around the edges and cut a notch into it, and that's ready to go. Some really pretty paper here. Here's one that I just flipped the side over, and that's a pocket now. Just did some sewing. Same here. Here's some more edges that I made just with paper strips. They're just paper. And I just took one and I cut it down into a large rectangle, and I tore another sheet here. And then I just used my sewing machine to kind of follow it along to give it some more dimension there, and I thought they turned out really cute. And I'll just glue those down on an edge or as a belly band even. And there's another one. So that's another idea. And these are just more pockets and booklets. I made some into tags, backed them on some hard cardstock. And like these were like cutouts from paper pads. And you could just use those cutouts and back them and turn them into, you know, journal on there, no problem. Did some sewing around the edges. Same with these. This was just like a section out of a piece of paper that I liked. It said Paris and telephone and different things, so I backed it again so you could journal. Same with these. This was a little cutout from a paper pad that was like in this shape of a file folder. So I just attached another piece of paper on the back and I cut it out and sewed around the edges. And I can use that as a little pocket. More tags. This is a little booklet that I sewed together. Pockets. You just sew 2 pieces together, sew around the edges on 3 sides, and you have pockets. That one. That's another little card. Another card. So this way I just have things ready, put them right in my journals. I don't have to play around too much. So yeah, like I said, I just sat down, turned on the TV, and I started cutting and sewing and spent a few hours doing that, like over a few nights. And I'm so glad I did that. So here's that paper I was telling you about that I got some flowers wrapped up in. I put a piece of vellum, clear vellum, white on top, and I just sewed around the edges, and look how pretty that looks. It's different, and you could just add it in somewhere. So here you can see the vellum on top of the wrapping paper. And just turn that one into a little booklet. And this one too. How pretty that looks. So that's another idea. Just some more collaging, a little strip. More booklets. This was some really thin sort of fabric paper that I had. And again, I didn't want to cut it up because I thought it was too pretty, but I made a pocket out of that. And I turned this one into an envelope. And a lot more booklets using the extra bits. I hardly threw anything away. I just tried to utilize everything that I had. This is like a little card. I just did some collaging with extra bits of paper on it. And then I put another piece of paper on the back and then sewed around the 4 corners. And I thought that was really cute. I did a bunch like that. A little more booklets. Another strip of paper. This is another booklet that I made. So yeah, these were actually, I got some stuff from AliExpress. So I got this little package of cards, and I don't remember who the sellers are. I'm sorry, but if you just key in postcards, a whole bunch of stuff will come up. And so I've been getting a lot of stuff from there, like these. I don't know if that's anything, but infeelme.me. I don't know, but there were really cute cards in there. So I have a bunch here. I can show you. But they were really nice. I was quite surprised. And I'll show you what I did with those. I altered some of those. And while we're on it, I also got some larger ones from Ali. And these were really nice, actually. They're smooth and shiny and really thick. And they actually are like a postcard on the back. But the patterns on the front were surprisingly quite pretty. Sorry about the glare, but yeah, look at, colors were really nice, patterns. And then they had a few like this in there with some script on it, which I like because they look sort of vintage. Some flowers. And then at the back they had some sort of ones like this. Not too crazy about them, but anyways, it came all together. So I'll show you how I altered those. So these are the little ones. I just attached a piece of paper to the back that sort of matched some of the colors at the front. And I sewed around the edges, and that was it. Now I could just insert them into my journal. Brown and some rose color on there to match the roses. Sorry about the glare. But yeah, anyway. Really pretty. And very inexpensive, so this is a good way. I just attached a doily to that one. That's also a good way if you don't want to spend too much money. That was probably like $1, I don't even know, but really, really cheap. And so these are some of the larger ones that I did. I just attached some lace to the top, put a doily and a button on it, inked around the edges, did some sewing. So pretty, these. And I'll probably do a bunch more, just attach some lace there. So that was those. Let's just get through this really quick. I just made some pockets out of these. Did some collaging with paper. Same here, just attached a doily, some tags, little booklets, tags, just some more inserts. Love these. I love that image. I just sewed around the image and then sewed around the outside. Same thing here. Turn this into a little booklet. It's got a pocket on the inside and a strip of paper on the outside that I sewed down. Little booklet. I love this paper, so I just attached another piece of paper that matched inside, and I just did some crazy sewing on there. This was a tag that I actually got off of something I got at a thrift store, and so I like the tag. It was a little bit, you know, beat up, had a staple through it, whatever, and I just sewed it down to a piece of paper that matched. And I used it, so I really like that. More collaging. Use a strip of paper there. You know, you can always cover that inside or not, whatever you want to do. Yep, more pockets. This was a piece of ephemera from a paper pad, and I just cut it out because I like the way that looked. I'll just do something on the side here. It's cut on an edge, so I'll have to fix that. Another pocket. So I think you get the point here. So yeah, I just, that's what I did. I just did a lot of sewing. And just see if there's anything else here I want to show you. And I have pages ready to go, and that's what makes me happy. The faster I can get my journals put together, the better for me. So there's some vellum. This was some beautiful paper. I also didn't have the heart to cut up, but I did now. It's all embossed and beautiful. Some pages that I made. Did some sewing, made a pocket here and a tuck spot here. And same thing with these big ones. I made a flap here and a tuck spot here. Did some sewing around the edges, and I can just put that right into my journal. So I did a few like that. And so that's it. So I hope that you found this a little bit useful, and maybe it'll inspire you to go and pick up that pile of stuff that you have and go through it and see how you can use it inside your journals or some of your projects. So that's it. So that's my project share for today, and I hope it helps a little. Thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you're all well, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.